And whenever you guys are ready, feel free to get started.
You all ready?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay, we're group 3, comprised of H.Schuessler, Christina Johnson, Jason Kovic, and Sean Finder. Today we'll be presenting Oracle database. Next. Okay, database management system was defined in the 1960s to replace previous storage method, as in storing data in independent data files. In 1964, General Electric proposed the network database model with data records linked together. Then a year later, IBM and North American Aviation developed a hierarchical model where data is linked together in an org chart-like fashion. And 5 years later, in 1970, Dr. Codd of IBM developed a relational database model with relations and relationships, basically tables and table joins. And even though this concept was first developed by IBM, the first mover to the relational database was Oracle. In 1977, Oracle, formerly known as Relational Software, introduced Oracle Database version 2, the world's first commercially available relational database. And since then, relational model has been the gold standard of database management system. And in this presentation, we'll be covering Oracle's newest database, Oracle 12c. Next, please.
So the technical specifications for the Oracle database, the minimum memory requirements to run just the database is 1 gigabyte, and it's recommended that you have at least a 4 gigabyte RAM for installing the Oracle on a grid. Processor requirements, Itanium processors no longer work with this version of Oracle, and Oracle recommends Intel Pentium processing, 500 megahertz or faster for Windows or Linux operating systems, and Spark processors at 440 megahertz or faster if you're running Solaris. Below are listed a couple more processors that we use. For the users, you will need to identify the number of users. If you cannot, the price of the database is significantly higher, and Jason will talk about that here in a second. Next slide. Disk requirements for the Enterprise Edition, you'll need a minimum 9.19 gigabyte disk. For Standard and Personal, just a little bit over 9 gigabytes as well. For display, you need at least 1024 by 768 pixel display resolution, or the installer won't display correctly. Next slide.
Thank you. There's a few things that we want to cover, mainly, especially the pricing it varies so much, but what we're going to be covering right now is named user plus and processor license, since that's the majority of what companies will be looking at. So a named user plus license is defined as an individual authorized by the company to use the programs which are installed on single servers or multiple servers, regardless of whether the individual is actively using the program at any given time. So any non-human operated device will be counted as a named user plus in addition to all individuals authorized to use the programs, if such devices can access the programs itself. If you can count the number of users within the organization that will be using it, a named user plus license or that technique would be beneficial to that company, because named user plus licenses are substantially lower than a processor license, as you can see on the slide. A named user plus license is $950 a year, or per user, excuse me. A processor license is defined as a process where Oracle programs are installed and running. Programs licensed on the processor basis may be accessed by internal users, including agents and contractors outside of the environment. Processor license is used when you cannot count the number of users, so anything facing outwards, such as a website or e-commerce website, that's usually what companies would use. Processor licenses cost $47,500 per license, so it's substantially, like I said earlier, substantially more money per license. Also, what I'd like to cover too is the software update license and support for each of individual functionality for the database itself. So it provides customers the right to the product upgrades, 24/7 technical support, and it's available for 5 years from the release date of the product itself. Looking at this list, it doesn't paint a very good picture, but I'm going to define it a little bit in the next slide. Thank you. Next slide. So Group 3 has made some cost assumptions for our example here. And as you see on the presentations, we're using 3 nodes or servers for our assumptions. Also, we're going to be using Enterprise Edition for the database. Also, 2 nodes per processor as well. And each processor has 6 cores inside, excuse me. Also, the additional features that we're including are the rack or real application clusters, data guard, partitioning, diagnostics pack, tuning pack, and Oracle Linux, which is a free version, but it also has technical support that can be purchased through Oracle that'll assist you in any way if you run into any troubles or your IT personnel cannot help you. This presentation, we have not included any of the cooling of the racks or the electrical that runs the racks or any of the networking devices that connect everything together. Next slide. So this is the cost breakdown that we've done for this presentation. This is the cost breakdown for the rack based on the processor license, because that's what we're going to be using. As it is a public-facing website, so we cannot count the actual numbers. I said earlier, we have chose to use the Enterprise Edition, for example. So to compile how much of the company will be paying for the Oracle database, what we're going to do is, since we're going to be using Oracle Edition or Enterprise Edition, we're using the processor license, so that's $47,500. So we multiply that by the equivalent CPU factor, which you see here is 27. So by multiplying the processor license and 27, it all equates to $1,282,500. So it's quite a significant cost up front. The annual cost that contributes to the software update and support, multiplied once again by 27, that's $282,150. So their first year just for the database purchasing it is $1.5 million. Let's just make it easy, but $1.5 million for a license is significant for any company, but you have to think databases are very expensive and it holds all your information for your company. So it is your heartbeat within the company. But also down here, we broke down some of the cost analysis on the additional features, which is the rack, the active data guard and partitioning and diagnostic plan, tuning pack, and Oracle Linux. Like I said earlier, they do offer some software updates and technical support. That's which would cost them $2,300, which in a grand total is about $3.5 million to purchase this, the hardware, the software, and for the Oracle database. Next slide.
Thanks, Jason. This is Sean. I'm going to go over the features that we have with Oracle. As far as unique and identifiable features, we've got active cluster with shared storage. That's the best database cluster technology in the industry. It allows to where you have companion servers, each with independent workloads. These companions run on the primary and secondary nodes, respectively, as individual servers, and that's until one fails. Then one will take over at that point. You have ASM, automatic storage management. It's integrated high-performance database file system and disk manager. It's based on the principle that the database should manage storage instead of requiring an administrator to do it. Then you have fully contained pluggable databases. As the name implies, pluggable databases allow multiple databases to run under one copy. Oracle, as far as that goes, you could probably have it run up to 250 user databases at one time, and could probably support more. As far as unique and identifiable add-ons, you have Enterprise Manager and Golden Gate. Enterprise Manager is just a management platform for managing all the customers' Oracle deployments, whether in their data centers or in the Oracle cloud. As far as Golden Gate goes, that's it's providing CDC change data capture. It allows Oracle to replicate data from other databases. And then as far as different from the others, known for concurrency under workload. Basically, that's going to be something that allows you to, have many users that access data at the same time. So that really is really a good feature. Next slide. As far as perception, how the product is viewed by the customers is simply the best. It is expensive, but there is quality there. Oracle is considered still the #1 database. And then what is the reputation? It is definitely a large market share despite has a large market share despite high costs. Next slide. As you can see, the real application cluster customers, some of the leading companies in the world, as you can see right here, is many of them named there. Next slide. User interface, describe the user interface for Oracle. You've got the command line, SQL Plus. That's just your, pretty much your basic utility for basic command line interface. You also have a mini graphical utility or graphical interface, user interface, like SQL Developer, Data Modeler, Enterprise Manager, DBCA, and NETCA. How intuitive is it? Not the most intuitive database in the market, but again, there's some quality there. What features the interface allows users to work with? There are many tools for different features, a lot of different features. And as far as the next slides go, Ken's going to describe a lot of those features. Next slide.
Okay, this is one of the free tools provided by Oracle called the SQL Developer. This is mainly used by developers to make store procedure packages, view, function, sequence, things like that. Basically, the kind of things developers do in database. Next, please. And this is called the Enterprise Manager. This allows you to manage database properties such as managing table spaces, archive log, configuring user security, monitoring performance. This is one of the DBA tools. Next, please. Even though it comes with such a nice GUI tool, a lot of Oracle DBAs use SQL Plus, which is a basic command line tool. This is where they do all their admin tasks. Next, please. Okay, Oracle is considered very scalable because Oracle can be scaled out to 64 servers in a cluster configuration, like what we have in our example. And Oracle's, if you need to scale up, then you can scale up with Oracle's engineered solution called Exadata, or you can buy a very powerful server like IBM P-Series and spin up LPARS. Next, please. Competition-wise, there's quite a bit of competition, such as Microsoft SQL Server. SQL Server comes with many different features, such as integration services for ETL, SSRS for reports, SSAs for analytics. So Microsoft is definitely selling by features, but then SQL Server definitely has its cons as well. For example, SQL Server's very popular clustering technology is called Availability Group, but it's actually not active-active, it's active-passive, so there's a scalability limitation. And Microsoft also did change their licensing model to core licensing, so SQL Enterprise is actually quite pricey now, not as much as Oracle, but still up there. And as for MySQL is concerned, it's simple, free, but then it's only free if you're willing to forego support, and vendor support and production database, in my opinion, is absolutely crucial. And MySQL does have a bit of subquery performance issues, so you rarely see MySQL being used as a data warehouse. And since Oracle took over some microsystem, there have been some complaints about Oracle's slow development speed in MySQL, which has probably contributed to MariaDB's rise in the MySQL market. MariaDB is becoming very popular nowadays. And as for emerging technologies, definitely NoSQL. There are several different kinds, such as document database, columnar database, key value graph database. But document and columnar databases are the ones that are gaining a lot of popularity because document databases can handle variety and velocity at the same time, which traditional relational databases really cannot. They have to go back to dev and change the database, then push it to test and do the testing, then go to production. It takes time. And as for columnar database is concerned, it's data in columns instead of rows, which leads to faster selecting and measuring data warehousing environment. So those columnar databases such as Cassandra, HBase, and Vertica are gaining a lot of popularity. Next, please.
So to summarize, as Ken pointed out earlier, Oracle is extremely scalable, making it great for companies who need to scale out or up their databases. Sean discussed how it was extremely stable, especially under high concurrency of load. Oracle also provides just industry-leading features, which really makes it stand out above the rest. Cons, it's not affordable for most companies unless you can count the number of internal users. And Oracle is complex, especially in the cluster configuration, requiring additional training for database administrators. None of the databases are perfect. They all have their pros and cons, but Oracle right now is currently ranked #1, and there's a reason for that. Next slide. Thank you.
Okay, great job. So what is kind of your general consensus of Oracle relative to MySQL, to SQL Server and things like that? Which, obviously the costs are different, the performance issues are different, the features are different. How do you see those kind of the different types of organizations that you might see these things in?
So if I may, Ken, I'm sorry. So we use SQL Server within our organization. And to me, I installed Oracle for the very first time, like the trial, just to kind of, learn a little bit more of the ins and outs of the application and also the software that's provided, plus how the database functions. And to me, SQL Server, I don't know, for whatever reason, it seems a little bit more user-friendly to me. So it's a little bit easier to manipulate, do strings and queries with. Maybe it's just because I'm so used to SQL, but Oracle, it seemed a little bit tricky to me. So maybe it's just like learning a different language, but that's one thing for me. Go ahead, Ken, sorry.
Oh, no, that's a real good one. And you said language. Oracle uses PL SQL, but SQL Server uses Transact SQL, and the syntax are completely different. So it's not easy for the developers to go from one to the other. And on top of that, I personally think Oracle is selling to basically mission critical applications, and like those outside facing e-commerce sites that have to have 5 nines, basically 5 minutes of downtime, might cost them tens of millions of dollars. It might actually make sense for them to use Oracle Cluster in their case. But then obviously MySQL is winning their price competition. It's free as long as you get support. And SQL Server has incredible features. It comes with SSIS for ETL, RS for reports, and AS for analytics. So you don't have to get separate licenses for data stage for ETL, Crystal. You don't have to get SAS or SPSS. SQL just can do it. So they're really selling to different markets, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it's been my experience. I'm not a big database guy, but I have not played with Microsoft Exchange. I have played with Oracle, and I have to tell you, I'm not a fan of it. This is huge monstrosity, and I can see why Oracle developers make so much money. I mean, if you want to make money, go become an Oracle developer. That's awesome. But man, if you're just trying to get something done, that's tough. I have used MySQL before. It too is not necessarily the most intuitive, but if you're a coder, and I'm not, but if you're a coder, that's a pretty slick way to go. You can't beat free, but you do have to build in a lot of the logic when it comes to database into your scripting, your scripts that you're going to use when you're working with it. And that's a good way to learn about databases and about referential integrity and all those kinds of things. So it's pretty slick. It was a very good presentation. It was very informative. I appreciated kind of the way you had it all laid out, and it flowed really well. So nice job. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
I do not, sir.
No,
Yes, sir.
Okay, like I said, don't forget to turn in your peer evaluations, and I will get these, get these videos posted as quickly as I can. I should definitely have the videos themselves posted later today, and hopefully the transcripts late tonight, tomorrow, somewhere in there. I don't know that you necessarily need them, but some people do. So if that's it, if there's no more questions, I guess that's about it.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Take care. Have a good day.
You